from First American Title. She has been in the business over 20 years, and she has built her business by hard work, sweat equity, and being an amazing person, as well as one of the smartest individuals I know. So I'm so excited to have Penny come up and join us today and give us all her tips. Hopefully I learned something. I know there's some stuff that I don't know about Penny. I'm going to be taking thorough notes. So let's give a round of applause for Penny. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. First off, thank you, Beau, for the invite and that lovely introduction. I'll try to live up to that expectation you put out there. So this is a little bit different for me, that we are actually talking about how I built my business instead of focusing on selling First American Title to everybody and getting to work with you. So I will say that I always love chatting and learning about how your personalities work, who you are as a person, learning about different strategies that you use and I use to build our business and improve and maintain our business. So, as I said, it's just a little bit different for me as an affiliate and not as a realtor, but building business is building business. So, a little background on me. I have been in the title industry now for 26 years. And I love every aspect of it. But of course, I'm going to tell you a lie right there. Because when I first started, I sat in every seat of the title side. And one of my first days, they put me in the mapping side. And you are with nobody. You're alone, drawing out surveys and all these fun things. And I hated that. I'm going to be honest. It was terrible. And I was like, get me out of here. I've been here 2 hours, get me out of this space. I need people. So I was thankful that I learned that very early on. And what I do love about this industry is it's ever changing. It's so challenging. And I happen to be a person who likes change. And I love meeting new people. I love learning about them, what makes them tick. I love the passion that they have and what drives them. So thankfully, I stumbled onto the path that I am on today and have been on for a really long time, and it does several things for me that fill my cup. So, as corny as it sounds, I really, really, truly do love my job and love what I do. So most of my years in the industry have been on the escrow side. I have been a closer for most of my career or managing an office, and always played in sales, again, because I love people. I love talking to them. I love going to events. And I was taught from day one when I started in this industry that no matter what seat you sit in, you are in sales. And that kind of confused me a little bit because I was like, I'm not selling anything. I'm signing papers. I wasn't doing anything materially. So that kind of confused me, and being the newbie and being young and inexperienced and wanted to pretend that I knew everything. Of course, I wasn't going to ask what they were talking about. So it didn't take me long, though, to figure out that lenders and realtors paid my paycheck. And the better I did, the longer that the sales reps in the company kept their business. So I had to adapt and change and learn how to work with people of all kinds, different personalities. Walking into a closing room, I had to know that I had to quickly assess the room. I had to understand who was in that room. I couldn't be too goofy if I was dealing with somebody that felt that this was strictly business. And, I had to assess if somebody was, really laid back. We could have fun and have a great time. And by doing that and adapting myself to the room, I was able to start forming relationships with realtors and lenders, and not only professionally, but personally, and becoming friends together. So I knew that it was my team, the realtors, the buyers, the lenders, the sellers. We were all working towards one goal, and that was getting to the finish line, which is the closing table. I knew that speed was key, lack of errors, personalities, adapting to every personality in every closing situation, and handling that through closings. One thing I wish I would have done, there's probably more, but one main thing that I wished I had done is kept a count of how many closings I've done over the years. It's depressing. I'm sure it was a lot. But I wish I would have done that. How cool would that be, right? So everything I've done over the years in my closing experiences has really led me to where I am today as an account executive with First American. So how have I developed those relationships over the years besides meeting and closing rooms? Well, I got involved in my community in several different ways. Years ago, I started with community development back home in LaPorte, and I would work with first-time home buyers and agents and doing some training that way. I got involved in charities. I did fundraisers raising money for particular causes, real estate related or not. What I was astonished by, though, is to find out that how many in our industry, how many in our industry are involved with Down Syndrome Indiana, and that is very near and dear to my heart, as well as any other special needs children. And I've been able to network and find out who is in this wonderful community and build our relationships from a personal level to a professional level. So I truly, truly do highly suggest getting involved in your community, and especially something that's close to your heart, and being your genuine, authentic self that way. I also suggest very much another way that I have really, really developed my business is getting involved with MyBor and the Realtor Foundation. There are so many different committees that you can work on. Giving Tuesdays, Next Gen, the grievance committees, professional standards. The Realtor Foundation also has the annual golf outing, the ball, and many others. So that's something that I have done, is try to serve on as many committees as I possibly can to meet other agents so I can start working with them, helping educate on the title side and, developing those relationships. So again, I really, really suggest getting involved in those committees, and especially on the division level with MyBor. There are so many different things, and if you're on the east side, west side, north, south, they have their divisions. Get involved with the one that you're either living near or work most out of. And also there's another thing that I absolutely love with MyBor is the M-Pro series, and I don't know if anybody in here has done that, but it is a great way to network with other agents, and that also equips agents to have a better education and experience in various aspects of our industry and achieving excellence in our industry. So again, that's another way to network with other agents, find out what they're doing, how they're building, their business, how they're working on developing listings. And in this market, we have to think outside the box. Obviously, it's no secret that we have a shortage of inventory, so take advantage of that opportunity. Just because you might be a Tucker or an EXP or a Keller Williams agent doesn't mean that you cannot work with those others. And roundtable, sit and talk with them, find out, what makes them tick, personality-wise, make friends with them. We're all in this together, so, take that opportunity to learn from them. I also suggest getting involved with vendors and affiliates of MyBor. And the reason I suggest that is, the title side, the home warranty side, home inspections, appraisers, surveyors, we all have a huge book of business, and we can share that information. You want to get to know them, trust them, like them, and talk to them about how they're working and how they're building their business. And it can definitely help you in that sense as well. So again, in this market, we have to really, really think outside the box and to continue those relationships and to continue building those relationships. The other piece that has really, really helped me in the past 10 years is social media. Anybody who knows me or is friends with me on Facebook, I post nonstop. And I post professionally and I post personally. And I like to do the personal because I want you to know that this is who I am. This is not a social media presence. that what you get there is what you get here. And, not everybody is that way, and that's perfectly fine, but that's what's worked for me. And I've also, really, I try to assist other agents on Facebook when they post their listings and they post, that they've just had their closing or they had this many showings. I try to celebrate that with them on Facebook. And you may think it's just a simple click and what could that possibly do? But that helps drive up their visibility on social media. So I encourage you to do that. That's supporting each other. And again, in this industry, we can't do it alone. So, I've really relied on social media for that. And if you're not a social media person, just try maybe one post a week and work it up to where you are comfortable. And it just kind of becomes second nature because everybody loves social media. And that really is how you're going to really make a splash in this industry. So I have another sheet that I want to hand out to everybody, and this is 150 ways to refresh your business. There are some seriously interesting things on here, and I have to say my favorite one was, who do you buy your liquor from? So in this industry, we know we all have to drink a little bit here and there just to get through. So, but I will make sure that everybody gets a copy of this and use it. Look it over. Make sure you are, eliminating, going through. Now, some of these may not apply to you, but, go through it and see who it is that that might already be in your sphere that you didn't even think about to network with and, to see if you can build business together. So from that point, I have to say that I'm so very thankful that I do really get to do what I love every day. I know it sounds corny and it sounds ridiculous, but it really is true. And I think that's what's helped me continue growing my business in this industry. And I won't lie, there's times I want to run away, but I think we all do that because it is very challenging every day. And we're dealing with people's emotions. And so it's their biggest purchase in their life. So it can be very challenging. But I do love that. I love working with the agents that I do work with and continuing to develop those relationships. And I suggest that you really think outside the box and start looking at ways that you can generate more business and better relationships. So again, that's what I have to say. So I want to thank you, Beau, for letting me join you today. And I'm always around. You can find me anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. All right, everybody, we're just going to take about a 1 to 3 minute break to reset, and we'll get ready, and then I'll come back up and we'll do the second session. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, we are back, and we're going to wrap this up. We'll probably finish a little early today. We'll see how long this goes, but I'm actually going to do a little bit of ad hoc because Penny's presentation was so good, and it just jogged my memory a little bit on some things that I thought would be good to say as well. So again, my name is Beau Benjamin. I have been in real estate 4 or 5 years, and first year did 5 million plus in business, and now I've done over 17 million a year in business, working to get that as high as possible like we all are. But all of that, or the far majority, 90% plus of that business has been by referral. So I work my sphere, and today I just want to talk about some of that, but not the tactics. We've taught with some of the past sessions. You can go back and look at our YouTube channel and see the tactic nature of that, the calls, the notes, the pop buys, the lunches, all that stuff that we talked about. But today I just want to talk about habits and work effort. So one thing that I've been doing recently is I joined an accountability group with some other realtors, and we are trying to form habits that produce the results we want. And we're also, most of that group is in a second group that I'm in for a book club, and this month's book club just happens to be on Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read it, but if you haven't, it is an amazing book. I haven't even gotten all the way through it yet, but it is so good. And so today I wanted to share some of the things that have been popping up and my thoughts along with that book as I'm learning from that book. And one of the first things is our habits form our identity, and our identity form our habits. So it's reciprocal, or they affect each other. And you might ask yourself, how does that work? Because we are who we are, and then we form habits, and why does that have anything to do with our identity? Our identity is who we were born to be or whatever. Well, I don't believe that. I didn't really believe it before, but I couldn't explain it before until I read this book, and it kind of enlightened me as far as how this works. So if you think about it, your character and what you like to do and what you spend time doing every day is a direct reflection of the habits that you do every day. So, for example, I brought in some coffee today. I identify as a coffee drinker. If I decided one day to stop going to get coffee most mornings, or even making a cup at my house, then I would no longer be a coffee drinker. And that's just a simple example of a habit that causes our identity to change. So one thing I loved in the book, they said an example of a smoker, and they said there's two different people, someone that smokes and says they're quitting smoking, and someone asks them, hey, do you want a cigarette? The two different responses of someone trying to quit form the habits and form the identity of those people. One person might say, oh no, I'm trying to quit smoking, and that's their response, okay? That's their identity. The next person might say, oh no, I'm not a smoker. And if you think about that, we're gonna pause and let that sink in. That is huge, because what is the likelihood, I would love to see the percentages if we could track this, of the person that says, I'm not a smoker, to complete that goal. They both were smokers to begin with, but the person now says, I'm not a smoker. And so they're going to just put that wall up every time that opportunity comes, and they're going to form that habit, and they're self-talking to themselves and building that subconscious record in their brain saying, that's not me, that's not who I am, that's not my identity. And so then the other person says, I'm trying to quit. That basically is a big message to your subconscious saying, hey, we're going to try for a day or two, and then we're going to go back to it. Okay, as soon as the pressure, as soon as the craving, as soon as everything gets hard enough, we'll revert back to being a smoker, because we're just a person that's trying to quit right now. We're not an actual non-smoker. So the identity, it is just revolutionary information. That's why I say go read the book, because this is just a little slice of the pie here. But let's take that and move into how we can use that to build our day. All right. So the first thing of a day, are you someone that gets up early? So I know plenty of people in my life that say, oh, I love to sleep in. I love sleep. I've heard that term so many times. I love sleep. So what does that mean? That as soon as you say, I love sleep, I love to sleep in, I need sleep, I need this amount of sleep, whatever the case may be, you're building your identity, you're programming your subconscious to need that and to follow that and to be that. And you're telling your body and your mind that's okay. But if you identify and you change and you say, oh, I'm an early riser, you start, a lot of people, I love the book, The Miracle Morning, and there's the lifesavers in that book. And they say SAVERS is the acronym. It stands for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. All right, so those lifesavers, the whole point is to get up early, be an early riser, do these things. Well, they all mesh together. They're all like a soup. And once you eat the soup, you're doing well, your life can change. But the affirmations are a big part of it. So you're gonna identify as an early riser. Then you're going to do it. Then you're going to write affirmations that reinforce the fact that I'm an early riser. Pretty soon, just like they say habits take 21 days to take hold, there's variations of that, but 21 is a pretty popular version. As soon as that habit happens 21 plus days in a row, and you're affirming it every day, and you're doing it, all of a sudden that's who you are. You wouldn't even respond the next day, and someone asking you on the 22nd day, Oh, do you like sleep? You're going to say, I'm an early riser. I actually prefer to get up. And you're going to have retrained your identity, your brain, everything around that to change. So along with that, let's just walk through the day really quick. So you're an early riser, you get up, you get things done. Next, what's another good habit for a realtor to build your business? This is so important. Your lead generation is being a realtor. I love meeting new realtors. I love people asking how you become a realtor. I love those questions, but most of the time my immediate answer is, do you want to be in a sales job? Do you like sales? Are you okay with talking to a lot of people every day? Because if any of those answers are no, A, you need to change your identity if you're going to move forward, or B, you need to go to a different job. Real estate is not showing houses. It's not an interior designer. You can go be an interior designer if that's truly what you like about real estate, but don't be a realtor to be an interior designer. They're not the same thing. All right, realtors are lead generators, and then we are servers as far as customer service. But you don't have anybody to serve or provide customer service to if you don't generate the lead in the first place. All right, so real estate habit. First couple hours of the day, for me, it's 2.5, 3 hours. It's in my calendar, time blocked. I won't let anybody interrupt it typically. I won't answer calls. I won't respond to emails. It's only lead generation. I'm doing the things that I do. Now you can plug in anything you want. It's lead generation. You can build a Google ad campaign. You can build a Facebook ad campaign. You can make phone calls. You can set up your profiles on Zillow and Realtor.com and become preferred agents and pay them a lot of money. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it should just fall into the category of lead generation. Every day that you do it will result in business later on, typically 90 days down the road. So you have to do it nonstop. Now, what if you identify as someone that doesn't like to make phone calls or someone that doesn't lead generate? Oh, I hate that part of the business. That is the business. You've just told your subconscious and everybody around you, and you're changing who you are, your identity, to someone that doesn't want to be a good realtor. Isn't that crazy if you think about that? Let's not say that anymore. Let's say, I am a lead generator. I'm the best lead generator. I spend time every day in my business on lead generation and figure out, like Penny said, that's what struck the chord with me, is social media. She said, start it once a day. Start or once a week, I think she said, and then build up to it. You don't start out as a marathon runner by running 26 point whatever miles it is the day one. You would injure yourself most likely. You would never do it again, most likely, because you would stink at it and you probably wouldn't finish. That's not how life works. Life works by training, starting it out, starting the habit. Build a small habit, do it every day, become religious with it, and then build incrementally on it until you become the marathon runner. You cannot run a 4-minute mile by just walking out the door with some jogging shorts on and taking off. It's not going to happen for anybody. All right, so the habit forming is so crucial. Lead generation is so crucial in this business. Become the best lead generator. Affirm that. Just write out that sentence. I am the best lead generator in the business. I am the best lead generator in Indianapolis or wherever you're at. Make sure you're doing that, reinforcing it. All right, the next part of the day for me is don't waste a lunch. One of my cohorts, realtors, told me one day to go, he was reading the book, Never Eat Alone. So I, being a book nerd, went out and got it immediately and read that book. And a lot of it is stuff I've heard before, but there was some key things. And one of the main messages just comes from the title is, why would you ever waste a lunch if you're in a sales-related business? If you are, and this may go against your diet, it may go against, health, whatever, that may contradict a little bit. A lot of saving money financially, pack your lunch, all this stuff. But in a sales role, if you can be sitting across the table from a client every single day, that's another piece of lead generation that you've done. You've not wasted an hour, you've not taken an hour off. And typically it's fun. I mean, I don't know about the people on this call, if they enjoy being around people. Typically to be a realtor, you have to be a little bit of an extrovert. I'm probably naturally an introvert that can do extroverted things. There's 4 classes, by the way, if you look that up. There's the introverts that don't want to talk to people ever. There's introverts that can talk to people. There's extroverts that like to have some alone time, some downtime, and then there's pure extrovert that's needs to be in front of people all the time. So as a realtor, you probably can't be a realtor if you're the fourth one inside all the time, never talk to anybody, but the rest of them can be a realtor. And why waste your lunch? Why waste that hour? Get a point. That's one of my main things. So I'm calling in the morning, and if I don't have anything to say, I'm inviting people to lunch. That's the easiest fallback for me. Hey, let's go grab lunch, let's catch up. I mean, who's going to turn that down? So there's the second, another habit. So then in the afternoon, you're probably scheduling appointments, right? You're scheduling appointments, showings, whatnot. The business starts to pick up, the customer service, you have to do inspection responses and make offers and all the stuff that we know you have to do. That's fine. The habits kind of fall away at that point, right? Because we built our morning to succeed. We built those habits to succeed. All right, so there's another thing that I want to touch on really quickly. So this is just a personal story. I'm going to open up a little bit to people on the call and watching the video on YouTube later. So this past week, there was probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I started this new accountability group. We're trying to really do something powerful in the business. And so there's about 12 of us, I think, that are meeting weekly and holding each other accountable. And then we kicked that off. And I said, I'm going to do it. This is something I've been wanting to do. I'm going to start working on this. I'm going to do it. Okay, so there's two things that came out of this for me that kind of reflected. I don't know which way to tell the story first. Okay, so the first thing is, anytime you put energy out into the world, it's going to come back with a result, right? Typically a good result. If you're saying, I'm going to build this habit, I'm going to do this. If you exercise, you're probably going to lose weight. You probably need a diet along with exercise, but likely you're going to lose weight. If you lead generate, you're going to get more business. They're all correlated. It's where you sow your seeds, you'll reap the harvest. That's a law of the harvest. So that's well known in the industry. Not everybody follows that recommendation and does that every day, but it's well known and the effects are well known. All right, so the law of attraction, you attract what you think about, what you do, what you put energy to. All right, so that's the thing that's most common. Another thing that I personally have seen in my life and believe to be true is that I think anytime you're trying to do something big in life, that you're trying to make a commitment, make a change your identity, change your habits, change who you are, who you're going to be, I believe that personally, I'm Christian, I believe God tests me anytime. And this last week was terrible. Here's the deal. I'll sell probably over 50, 60 houses this year. Had 3 clients in 1 week go a different direction. All right, that's hard to say. I don't like to lose clients. My loss percentage is like less than 5%, probably less than 3%. Once I have someone that I've been talking to, I take such good care of them. Typically, it's a slam dunk. So losing one deal is hard enough, let alone 3 in 1 week. But I think it was a test. At first, I just wanted to shut down, stop the week, and just say, okay, it's Wednesday, this is the 3rd one of the week, life doesn't want me doing this right now, I'm just gonna go home and do a hobby or do something else that's unrelated. That would have been so easy to do, so easy to give up, so easy to quit in that moment, because you're down, you think the world's against you. But what if the world isn't against you? What if God, or however you look at the universe, is saying, do you really want this? I'm not going to send the deals. I'm not going to send the masses. I'm not going to make you into something else and let your world change, let your identity change, let everything about who you are change and move up a notch. Unless you're really after this, I need to know. I need to know if I can trust you with these new resources that I'm going to give you. Do you want this? Do you want it? That's the thing that happened to me this last week. And the thing about it is, as I kind of reflected and I started getting re-energized, because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pass this test. I'm gonna stick to my habits. I'm gonna stick to my new accountability group, stick to the things I promised them, stick to what I want in life. And I know it's gonna be a hard change. I know it's gonna be difficult at times, and this is one of those times, but I do want it, and I'm gonna pass this test. And then I started reflecting on it more, and I thought to myself, you know, of the clients that I lost, if I rank ordered my clients, they would have been the ones I would have liked to boot out anyways. You know, one of them I didn't know. They were a referral from a friend, and I never really got a chance to really be their realtor here in Indy. And they just happened to stumble across something else through their work. So good for them. It still hurts as a realtor, as we all know. The other two were just not good people. Like, I'm not going to obviously call out names, but you know, they would be the last on the list of 100 if I had to rank order them of who I would want to serve. They weren't nice people. They weren't nice to me. But as you know, in this business, we have to take everything that comes our way because you never know. So that just reinforced my opinion of this is just a test. God's just taking the trash off the end. He's pruning me, right? There's verses about being pruned so you can grow bigger, grow better fruit. That's all that was happening. But I could have so easily quit, and I know so many people out there that do. They quit. There's a great book, Acres of Diamonds, and there's story after story after story in that book about how close people were to striking oil or finding the diamonds in the ground in part of the story. They were so close. One of them left their farm to go find diamonds, and then their farm ended up being the largest diamond producing place in the world for a while. So it's just crazy to me that we constantly let our stories or let our difficulties that happen define us. We let that crush us. You know, go home and quit, watch Netflix for a couple days, it'll pass by. Well, you know, if I was a multi-millionaire and I was trying to hire someone to steward a piece of my business, and I said, you know, I want to test them, I want to challenge them, if they just gave up, would I give them all that money, all that power, all that responsibility? No, we wouldn't do that if we were in control of these fortunes. So why would the universe, our God, whoever you want to say, why are they going to give us anything if we can't pass these tests? So habits lead into identity. If you want to change your identity and change who you are, change your habits, but be ready for the test because it's coming. You will get tested and you will have to pass the test to move up in life. That's just a fact. All right? And then after that, then the law of attraction, the opportunities, what you're putting out comes back to you tenfold. You hand it out in slices, it comes back in loaves, as my good friend Brian Buffini says. All right, so that's going to wrap us up for today. I'm so happy that you guys joined. I'm so happy that we had Penny come in, and we're going to be on to part 4. We'll get our next speaker. We'll announce it, and I hope you guys all return for that. And then I don't remember if we have 4 or 5 in the spring, but don't forget that we'll pick this back up in the fall area too. I want to keep announcing that to remind people because we're all getting ready to hit one of the busiest real estate cycles of our lifetimes, most likely. So we're not going to be here doing this, but we certainly want you to come back in the fall time so you can pick back up. We can build our businesses and we can grow. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time. Please refer this out to people you know, whether you're watching it on YouTube after the fact, or you're watching it here today, or you're with us here today. Please tell your friends about it. We're trying to grow and make the industry better. We certainly want to do that to as many people as possible. So thank you again and have a great day.